We start marriage counseling later this week. I hope we can work it out. I don't know what to do or how to feel. I thought my husband and I had a good relationship and marriage. We had our occasional spats, but nothing we couldn't get through. We have been together 4 years, married 2. We had just come back from a vacation, and he told me he wasn't happy and could not give me a reason why and didn't know how to fix it. He said he had been unhappy for a while but thought he could fix it himself. But it takes 2 to solve a problem when it's a marriage issue. I was completely blindsided. Up until that point, we were still having sex and didn't have a dead bedroom. I was heartbroken, still am. In a span of 2 weeks, I found out he was seeing a woman who works in a different department than him. He is on the plant and she is in the office. He said it started out innocent and she asked him to talk to her son about work. He had gone to her apartment just a couple of times before we went on vacation, and after he told me about being unhappy, he was there more. This is a span of 3 weeks. He swears it happened just recently. I found out because he went to pick her up, and I work with someone who lives in her apartment complex. I know he took her to dinner, a bar, and then back to her place. He said her son was there the entire time. He admitted kissing her after I confronted him. He said they were just having fun, and there was nothing emotional about it. He swears they didn't have sex. I feel numb. I don't know how to feel right now. He agreed to put a track on his phone so I know where he is, and he sent her a message stating he was going to work it out with his wife and to not speak to him again. I have her phone number, the copy of the text, and the photos. I threatened to tell his job. He has agreed to counseling. I will be doing individual therapy. He has apologized immensely. I never thought I would be going through this. He has removed the passwords off his phone and hands it over when I ask. He cried, and so did I. A lot was said. Only 2 people know about this, and they say I'm stupid. I really need some support. Thank you all for listening. We're in counseling, but I'm still upset by our counselor's reaction to his list. We're in couples counseling. After a week I'm still offended at our therapist's reaction. Aida? We've gone to 3 sessions so far. She's pretty booked so we have to take appointments when we can get them. So right now it's once a month. Our previous sessions are still feeling each other out and establishing rules. It's fine. I don't love it. Long story short. We were together 8 years, decided to have a couple kids, couldn't really afford daycare so I became a som. He purchased a sex worker while I was pregnant with number 2, and I knew I needed him so badly I forced all my feelings down. Well, that baby is now in preschool. And I have feelings about it. Maybe not fair, but hence, couples counseling. Anyways, after each session I have felt progressively worse. This last time makes me want to call it all off and cancel all remaining appointments. And I don't know if I'm just crazy at this point. I need perspective. Our therapist gave us worksheets to complete in the office. Things your partner can do to make you feel loved. 16 fucking lines worth. I filled in 8. Dumb stuff like, make me or bring me coffee in the morning, or finish the dishes after dinner, or say something nice if I'm obviously trying to look nice. Sitting in silence and getting 8 things down was grueling. Then we had to share our lists with each other. I went first. None of these items were a surprise to him and honestly, he does many of them already. But when he reads his list, he's filled half of them with things about me. Tell me 2 positive things about your day. Tell me how you're feeling before you get mad, ask me to go for a run. He doesn't run. I do. Rarely. He's asking me to remind him to ask if I want to run. And our therapist lets out this, oh, sound and hold her hand over her sternum. Like she's so touched by his thoughtfulness. And I was so put off. I was mad. Like, I honestly felt like he cheated on the assignment. And while he couldn't have known she'd react that way, he definitely had this smugness about him after. I pointed out that the list was supposed to be about him. Things important to him. These are important to me, he said. He's saying you are important to him, she echoed. And I just shut down. I wanted out of that room. Away from them both. I wanted to scream that he doesn't get to cop out like that. All week I've tried to get myself to put forward the effort to address his list. But I can't. It's just that. More stuff for me to do. With all the crap I do for the kids, the house, his business, and my elderly parents. I'm just spent. Am I being an asshole? Was our therapist's reaction completely inappropriate? Is he just pulling out the stops now that someone is looking? Have I finally lost my mind? Wife decided she was done. I'm honestly still kind of confused even though it's been a couple of months. For some context, my wife and I had been together for 3 years before we decided to get married. It was a smaller wedding, but we were happy. We had problems, but we were always very good at communication. We worked together, and we were incredibly close. After about 6 months into our marriage, she had gotten a much better job in our field. She was making more money and was quickly growing in her field as she was a very hard worker. I was a little nervous because my ex before her had a similar thing happen, and she decided she wanted better. I voiced my concern, and she reassured me that nothing would happen. My depression had gotten worse with the marriage and the process of moving to a new apartment. We got into a very long and difficult argument. We both sat in the kitchen crying when she dropped that she wanted to divorce. I immediately started asking if we could find alternatives through therapy. She agreed, and after a couple of months, things were actually incredible. I was able to inspect myself and work on a lot of my flaws through insecurities, and I even started taking meds. Therapy was great, and things were relatively back to normal. We were intimate again, and we started feeling like a couple again. Then she met someone at work. They started off as friends, but one day, she dropped the bomb that she had feelings for him. I knew freaking out and causing a scene wouldn't help, so I told her that I would better myself so she wouldn't feel the need to move on to someone else. She accepted, and we continued being a normal couple again. A month before her birthday, she tells me she's going to go to LA with a friend. Apparently, the friend canceled, and she decided that she was going to take her coworker. This set off dozens of panic attacks. I stopped eating, and I could barely sleep. She would casually tell me about the emotional cheating between her and him, and it sent me into a very dark place. During therapy, I mentioned him, and she told me that if they slept together, she would consider it cheating, and she refused to be a cheater. Which gave me some comfort. Her and I would get into argument after argument about this trip. She got so upset with me that I was anxious about her sleeping with him. She would yell and isolate me until the trip finally happened. She promised that after the trip, she would work with me and consider us a couple again. I used this as motivation. I ate food, slept, etc., because I wanted to show her how important this was to me. She would text me back, saying she was proud. She came back from the trip and admitted to me that she slept with him. I wasn't surprised, but I felt my whole world finally break. She got upset and left for her mom's house. I went to a friend's house and kind of just fell apart. When I got home, she was there, and she started going on about how I was a horrible person. I only thought about myself, and if I unvalued myself, then she didn't care anymore. She left again and I ended up staying at another friend's place. After that, my whole life kind of just crumbled. I'm already kind of rambling, so I'll summarize the last part. I decided I didn't want to stay in my hometown anymore. I started going by a different name and wanted to just start over. I know I was just running, but it was the only way for me to feel okay. Unfortunately, after a couple of months of traveling by train, staying at different family members' places, and never finding a home again, I hear my ex OD'd with another boyfriend of hers who was also her dealer. They found her after, and unfortunately it was too late. I came back home after deciding the starting over wasn't going to happen. I'm currently living with my mom, who isn't the healthiest person to live with. I honestly can't feel much. I'm so sad she died, but I also can't forgive her for the things she did to me. After everything, I just sit in bed and ponder what to really do next. I'm sorry for the long post, and I'm sorry for the not very happy ending.